Hi. In the week we cover on creating a Google Earth tour, when we're done creating the tour, the one thing we want to do is make it available and viewable by those in our class and myself and others, if you want to share it with others, friends and family. To do that, we want to be able to have the tour available, not just to click on. If you happen to save your file as described in some of the tutorials, in the overview and in the resources section, you can save the tour that you create as a KMZ file. And we could certainly take that file, you could upload it to Dropbox or Google Drive, save the file there, and then just put a link to it from your website that you're created and using for this class. However, that just allows the person, or actually requires the person, the viewer, to have Google Earth installed on their computer in order to run that tour file, that KMZ file that you created. A better way to do it, not requiring folks to have Google Earth installed, is to make a little video tour of your Google Earth tour. And one way to do that is to use a screencast tool such as Screencast-o-matic or Jing to be able to create that tour. In fact, that's exactly what I'm using to create this tutorial. It will record actions that you perform on the screen, and it will record audio, as you can hear my audio right now. It will record that so you can narrate your tour as an audio narration and show how you go from one element to another within the tour. So let's do that real quick here. I have a Google Earth tour that's created on World Heritage sites. And you can see I have the opening screen here for that, showing the whole Earth and a little overview text here. And then if I can just, at this point, using Screencast-o-matic or Jing, you can record this at this point, starting from the very first element, such as I'm showing here. So let me just walk through a couple of steps here to do that. So let's assume I've already started the recording and I have Google Earth showing. I have my specific tour already available, and you can see that tour is over here. This was a KMZ file I had saved that comprised all of the elements within my tour, and I just opened that KMZ file up and it automatically opened up in Google Earth here. So it's available here. Here's my tour, and when I click on this first element here, this is what's showing as my front. So this is what you would do to set up and make your tour. The prep work you would do is to save it as a KMZ file, open it up in Google Earth, and at this point you're now ready to record. So you could indeed start, again, Screencast-o-matic or Jing as a tool to record. Note that Jing does have a 5-minute limitation, so if you think your tour might take 6, 7, 10 minutes long possibly, definitely be better to use Screencast-o-matic. And that's a tool that you can either run on the Screencast-o-matic website, or you can download it as a software application, which is what I'm doing right now and using it. I'm running it as an application on my PC compatible computer. So have it all set up as noted here, and then press the record button in your screencast tool. So once you press the record button, then start your tour. And I'm going to pretend I'm starting a tour right now just to show you how I would narrate and walk through a couple of the elements in the tour. So here we go. World Heritage Sites Tour. This tour, as it notes here, takes you through some of the UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. And we will walk through some of the sites here as part of this tour, giving you an overview of some of the most important cultural sites throughout the world. Let's first start here by clicking on this intro here. Here's the logo for UNESCO and specifically the World Heritage Sites. And you can see it's been going on for at least 40 years here, and we want to be able to demonstrate some of the most important UNESCO sites around the world. So we'll come over here to our Google Earth tour, and we'll click on the very first site here, the Tasmanian Wilderness. When I double click on it, as you can see, underneath you can see Google Earth is swinging around and is actually showing us the location. where the Tasmanian wilderness is. It says right here, state of Tasmania in Australia. So off the southern coast of Australia, an island called Tasmania, and it's preserved as a wilderness area. And we have a description here about this particular UNESCO site. And we have a couple of images that have been added here showing some of the unique wildlife that is in the Tasmanian wilderness. Let's move on to our next UNESCO site here. This one is in Saudi Arabia. You can see Google Earth is swinging on over to the country of Saudi Arabia. And I wish I knew Arabic. I could pronounce this location correctly. The At Turaif district in Ad Diriyah. And this is in Saudi Arabia, I think central area of Saudi Arabia. And here's a description of this particular site. And you can see it's partly ruins and part of it's a pretty well restored section, and it's very important to the Muslim religion. And there's a link here that can be clicked on to go for more information. And that just gives you an idea. I'm going to end the tour here artificially. We haven't covered the whole tour, but that's what you would do, is just click on each of the elements that you've added, give a little verbal description. You don't have to read the full text if you've added quite a bit of text, but just give a short little verbal description about each of the elements and walk folks through your full tour that way. And that way they can see in action the locations where you're zooming into on Google Earth, on Earth, and they can see the pop-up that hopefully you've created with some text, some images, and maybe a link for more information. So I'm going to end it at this point. And at this point, you would click the stop button on your screencast tool and halt the screencast capture. And if you're using something like Screencast-o-matic, which is really valuable, you can then, once you halt the tool, you can then save the resulting tour that you just created as a YouTube video and upload it to your YouTube account. So you'll need to create, if you don't already have a YouTube account, you'll need to create a YouTube account and upload it. And then you can take and embed that YouTube video into your website, just as you embedded your Google Map last week into your website. If you have any difficulties, just shoot me an email and I'll be glad to help you.